Welcome to Elaine Sterling, esthetician. Ma. Welcome to season 2, Esthetician Unlocked. You are now in the Elaine. Tracy, I want to just welcome you to Esthetician Unlocked, where you are now in the Elaine.
That's excited. Very excited.
Tracy, I'm dying to hear about, I think, your esthetician journey and how it led you to this amazing oncology aesthetics, which is near and dear to my heart. I want to know how you found it, the lane you went down.
I just got a chill because I didn't realize that you were a survivor until I was reading about your bio. So my journey of aesthetics started after I tried college, but I had a love for makeup, and I was working at Glamour Shots, if you remember that.
I do. Oh my
Yes.
God. I think I even
And
got my headshot done there.
yeah,
That was the
so
place.
it was pretty miraculous what makeup artists could do, transforming, everyday people into for these photos. But I started befriending all the makeup artists, and one of them was an esthetician, and I had never heard of what an esthetician was. And we were talking, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. College is not for me. What am I going to do? And she said, well, you have a talent to do makeup. She said, well, have you thought about going to aesthetic school? And I said, what is that? And she said, well, I'm an esthetician and I'm licensed in the state. And she started explaining it. So that led me to enrolling into aesthetic school. Loving it. I thought I was actually going to learn more makeup there initially, but I had enough talent and skill already. I learned more of the basic makeup, as we know. That's what you learn in esthetician school, just how to do a daytime makeup and a nighttime makeup. And from there, I did typical esthetician journey. I worked at a hair salon. I did pursue going to massage therapy school probably about 3 years after that. And, loved it, loved being dual licensed. It just worked for me, booking wise, and just being able to work with clients in several different areas. So from that point, my journey was, working as a lead therapist. And then
Who introduced you to this oncology aesthetics? Like, how did you go down that road?
So I had a client that would see me every 2 weeks, which I'm sure all of us know what that's like. And she was a real estate agent. She was just one of those clients that I loved having her come in because she was considered a mentor to me at that point. And she missed several appointments. And I tried reaching out to her. I never heard from her. And about 8 weeks later, she finally reached out and let me know that she had been diagnosed with esophageal cancer, stage 3. And she was very broken down at that point. She had already started treatment. They were going very aggressive with it. And, at that point, losing her hair, not getting out much, and just not feeling well. And at that point, I felt very not capable. I felt like, how can I help her? Of course, but I didn't feel like I had the tools to know what not to do to cause harm. So I just researched as much as I possibly could. And I did go to her home and provide treatments for her. But from that point on, I wanted to make sure that I was set and capable for any client that went through a cancer journey, was a survivor, at any point.
So, how does oncology aesthetics differ from traditional aesthetics? Like, why is the training so important?
Because it takes your skill a little bit further in understanding what's actually going on with their skin. Typically, the clients are dealing with the side effects of the medications and or treatments and their infusions, radiation. Some of the side effects can exhibit looking like a breakout. Chemo actually can come through the skin and look like a breakout. And if you're not trained or have the additional certification, you wouldn't know, and you wouldn't know the questioning that you need to ask and talk to your client about.
And so do you have a nonprofit, or what is your organization about?
I do. So after I became oncology trained in aesthetics and massage therapy, and again, I was only doing it to ensure I was capable. And it just so happened the universe was providing me. I just started getting more and more either survivors or people newly diagnosed. And so my clientele just became that demographic, which I'm happy with. I love it. I feel like they're superhumans. And I love working with them every day. But from there, I started seeing that anyone going through a cancer journey typically dealt with financial restraints. And one of the first things that they let go, unfortunately, is self-care. They have the doctor on one hand saying, de-stress, relax, calm down. But on the other hand, you can't afford to go and do the things that you used to. So I started a nonprofit in 2017 where it would allow anyone going through a cancer journey, any type cancer, would receive at least 3 free treatments, whether it's massage therapy or skincare, oncology trained therapist. And after that, they would have low cost. So if they continue with us in the Pay It Forward program, they only pay $50 a treatment.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. And then are you in Atlanta, Georgia, in a certain part of Georgia? Who are you partnering with, and how are they finding you?
So I actually reside in Gwinnett County,
Okay.
but the nonprofit does not have a brick and mortar at this point. The layout and setup is that we've actually partnered with other spas or doctors' offices that allow us to utilize their space, and we give them a tax write-off at the end of the year. They also obviously become a partner of A New Daily Beginning, and they can be involved in a lot of our events, fundraising, etc. But then our therapists can go in there and we bring all of our products, linens, etc., take care of our clients. And it gives, my goal is where any person in Georgia, which Georgia's so vast,
It's
that
huge.
they could go, yeah, that there would be a place for them. A lot of the clients I work with, we are traveling to them because we don't have a place in their county at this point. So,
And so, if an esthetician's interested in oncology aesthetics, why do you think the training is so important, and how long is your training?
so I think any esthetician nowadays should have the oncology training, because 40% of our population is going to go through a cancer journey. Those are the recent statistics from the American Cancer Society. Um, why wouldn't you want to be prepared if you have a client that comes in that's been newly diagnosed, or most of the time it's going to be a survivor, and you want to be able to be skilled and be able to know what to do and not do. And it, again, their journey may not be to work just with the demographic of a cancer patient or survivor, and that's okay, but they will work on survivors. They will have a client that comes in and is newly diagnosed.
Right. When
Yeah.
I had my cancer treatments, they were so this was 2004, and so it was like they did cancer treatments and support has come such a long way since I had cancer. But they were even saying, don't take vitamin C because when I had, because it'll protect the cell. They were worried about massage moving through the lymphatic system, but they didn't have all of the knowledge that they have now. So I had massage every 2 weeks, I can remember, because the cancer treatments were so brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And just you go into the ocean, I call it, for 4 days. And not only that, you don't have as much touch as you would have before, because friends you look so terrible. A lot of my friends didn't come around, and I felt like I was like some sort of, can't remember like some friends would just leave food at the door because they didn't want to see what I looked like,
Yeah.
with the bleeding gums and the no hair. I mean, you look kind of rough, you know what I mean? So I think just going for massage and having that touch and having, the arm that they used to like, or, where they have the port, obviously you have to be, a lot more careful. But it really, if it wasn't for massage, I don't know how I would have got through um, those treatments.
Right.
And I'm just so thankful that, they progressed with the holistic as well as the medical. Like
Yeah.
the two have to work hand in hand.
Mhm.
Where before they were like, they just wanted to throw the chemo in your body and hope you didn't die and pack you full of steroids and Benadryl, Um, so what is the name of your nonprofit?
A new daily beginning.
And we'll put it up. And how do people get involved or support your organization?
So on the website, there's a drop down and it lists how patients, volunteers, caregivers. So one thing I did want to mention is outside of the patients and the survivors, we do also treat the caregivers, which I think are so it's a lot of times shorted in the resource part of the cancer journey. And so that was really important to me to ensure that they were as well. But there is a info form they can fill out on the website. It's very simple and they can just put in the notes what, they'd like. And I am in contact with them, within a day or so, and we can kind of get things started. People can volunteer. We do several events throughout the year, and then we also work with other nonprofits to promote their events. So we're always looking for volunteers.
And we have plenty of people that can volunteer here at the Elaine Selling Institute. So you can ask anytime. And I believe you have a training coming up at your training, but I think it's at our
Yes.
location, right?
Yes, very excited. I've been wanting to launch oncology aesthetics training. My background in education, and I love it. So I will be teaching oncology aesthetics. And you had asked me, it is a 2-day course. And when they leave, they will be oncology trained. The first day is all theory, lecture. And then the second day, we actually will bring cancer patients, survivors, and caregivers in. They'll get to
Wow.
hear the story and they'll get to actually work on them.
It's the stories, right? It's
Yes.
the stories that just, when you hear the stories, and also the impact,
Yeah.
that you're making,
Yeah.
and how you make it is just unbelievable.
Hmm.
And when is your next class? Is it next month?
Yes, it will be March 10th and 11th, and it will be at your beautiful campus. We're looking forward to having, being your guest. So grateful for you to allow us to host it there.
Well, I rarely say no. That's one of my things in life. Is so just how do they sign up on your website to be able to attend this class?
Um, we have a link and a flyer, and I'll be glad to share that with you guys so you can put it, on the information on the podcast, et cetera. Um, and yes, they can also, if they're interested, they can send an info form in and let me know they're interested, and I will reach out to them personally, give them the details.
And how long have you been licensed?
27 years.
Is that as an esthetician and massage? You still licensed as a massage therapist,
Yeah,
right?
so I've
Yeah.
been a esthetician 27 years and a
Wow,
massage therapist 20.
it's amazing. And also, what's amazing is how quickly time goes. Just like that. I mean, I'm sure you remember the day that you sat in class the first day. At
I
orientation.
do. I do, and I remember having to cut my nails off because at the time I had acrylic nails, and my program director said, "Well, you're going to have to get rid of those." And to be honest, since I was in aesthetic school and then massage school, like I've never had artificial nails after that. I understood the reason. I know nowadays a lot of estheticians have nails and they can keep them, but
I don't know
I just
how.
can't.
I
Yeah.
do not know how they do it. I mean, I always tell my students I haven't had nails since 1980. Every now and again, if I have an event, I'll do the press-ons or the,
Yeah.
my nail instructors away. But I can't do anything with the nails because, I'm so used to touching and doing things with my hands. And then when I have the nails, it's like, can somebody dress me? I don't know. I don't know how. My daughter's a medical assistant and she's got these nails. I think they call them almond shape. I don't know how she does it. I think it's a skill. Very talented.
It is a skill. It's not something I have either. I love it.
Where do you think aesthetics is going? Like, what trends are you seeing as far as the advancements? I know oncology aesthetics is a big one. What else are you seeing out there?
I see a lot of things coming up with menopause in women.
Oh, yay for me.
I think that, I think that that is a really big trend that's going to be booming, if it hasn't already started, because I think women are having a lot of different skin issues, and it's based on hormones and their hormonal changes.
Yeah.
So I think estheticians really have to hone in on that. I mean, I think, again, we're instant gratification society. So people are wanting to do more, they want to look young, all the things. And definitely younger generation is way advanced in getting on the anti-aging cycle.
I know, far too young.
Yes.
I was on the news and I said, they've got to put that retinol down. My goodness, making those that's the TikTok generation for you. But yes, but thankfully they're interested in skincare, because I remember when I was 13 years old, my mother took me to the Clarins counter.
Oh my God.
Very fancy. And then she got me my products, that I should use on my skin. So I do like that, you and I have been in Atlanta a long time, and obviously, like, aesthetics was so new. When I came to Atlanta from South Africa, it was more, we had a school for quite a long time, but now, thankfully, aesthetics and self-care and facials and massage have become part of, you get your hair done, you go for your massage, you go for your facial. It's become part of lifestyle.
Yeah.
Which is fabulous.
Yeah. It's more mainstream and more people are doing self-care. It's not just thought of as a frou-frou, only the luxury actually get these treatments. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I always, because, obviously I deal with students, as you know.
Yeah.
And they just want to get out. You know what I mean? They just want to get out. And I tell them that the foundation is everything. I mean, don't poo-poo the application and removal of product. I mean, when I'm still drawing on my on all of my foundational skills. It's your house, right? It's your foundation of your house. And then you're adding oncology aesthetics, you're adding plasma lift, whatever, microneedling, what chemical peels, whatever it is, you're adding to that amazing foundation, right? And I think what I love about aesthetics is that you can find your lane, whether it be oncology aesthetics or holistic aesthetics. I think the holistic is coming back in a big way.
Yeah.
I've been teaching a lot about the microbiome, and I'm actually teaching a class at the Skin Games, which is March 6th to 9th. But it's been a really popular class because what I like about it is it's really stuff that I can only speak for myself, that I've been talking for a long time. That you don't have to torture the skin to get results, and that there are different microorganisms that are, lack of a better word, out of whack. And they're going to start honing in on the different ones that aren't working properly when it comes to eczema and all of that. So that's going to be a new frontier, but I think it's all about more really taking care of that skin and not over peeling, not over exfoliating and disrupting that acid mantle, that microbiome. And I'm happy to see that, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Because I mean, people walking around, with that vampire facial, all of those things are wonderful. You know what I mean? They and remember that walk around with the TCA, the shedding of the,
oh gosh,
and so yes, those are fine, but it's like, I think you have to uphold the integrity of the skin, and anything that you do to the extreme is really going to compromise the immune. And if you don't have a strong immune system, like you don't have a strong immune system when you are going through chemo or you're a cancer survivor, or you have any autoimmune. I think autoimmune, which probably, yeah, that I think that's going to be a big one because we're seeing so much on the skin, that I'm excited about the new frontiers, and I think it's not that we weren't doing it or saying it. It's just that we're going to have the science to back it up.
Agreed.
And I'm just glad that they can tell cancer patients that they can take a vitamin C now or have a facial or massage. It's like they just didn't know, and they know so much more. And I think it's really hard for cancer patients because it's like, and when I think of when I was diagnosed and all the things that I wanted to do, and I was 35 at the time, but I'm thinking all the things that I wanted to do that day, having cancer wasn't one of them. You know what I mean? And my whole family's got cancer. My dad had breast cancer, everybody except for one sister. So I have the cancer gene. And so it's like, I probably have every cancer gene there is. So it's just, I'm excited that there's more learning, and they're even talking about, immunization and different things. It's just, stem cells, and it's so hard when you're diagnosed and when that shoe drops. And then you've got to go through those treatments lined up like you're in, some sort of ward of some kind. I don't know. It's hard. And it's only when you're in it, you cannot imagine. And then radiation is totally different to chemo. The effects are totally different to the skin. Totally different. I mean, the only thing that I had, they told me to go to Ace Hardware and buy Udder cream, which has lanolin in it. So lanolin is used for burns, but if you are allergic to lanolin, you're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
So you can see, I mean, knock on wood that I don't have cancer again, but thank goodness we're in a new dawn and a new day. So what else did you want to tell me about? Do you teach the class? Or
No, I do teach the class. This one that we're teaching in March, my mentor from Boston, Holly Brown, will actually be there. And she has a similar nonprofit in Boston that's for cancer patients, survivors, and caregivers. But I just think, I think the big question, people go, well, why would I want this training? And if your agenda is, I'm going to take this training because I'm going to, make $1 million. That's not what this training is about. This training is about exactly what you said. It's about allowing someone to come in and feel in a safe space, and for you to be an advocate for them and use your skill as an esthetician to get them through the journey so that they know what their new normal is. And again, like I said, not everybody would want to do the work every single day, but we will have somebody in your treatment room. And I'm grateful every day. And it is the stories, and you talking about, people not wanting to come and see you. I mean, there's some pretty tragic things that happen. And one thing I have also noticed is the skin cancer, the uptick with that. And I think that, going back to about everything being so aggressive and do more and take away more skin layers and all that, I think it is coming to a head. I think that's why this shift is happening with the holistic and the microbiome, and, really looking at the holistic entire body instead of just, treatment kind of thing. So
yeah, exactly. Look at the whole person. And the other thing is that I think the unrealistic, I think expectations of people, and I say to everybody, because I'm 57 this year, so I say to everybody, I'm like, be the best version of you.
Exactly.
And what is and I'm talking about inside and out. Like, I'm always working on myself, believe it or not, right? It's like I'm always like, how can I be the best version of myself inside and also outside? Because it's hard when you're getting older. I was always the young one. 1968, we were the young ones, right? In the 80s, we were the teenagers.
You were.
And now, when I think of my daughter who's 26 and even younger, So it's not easy, but don't try and be 26. But let's look at the best version of you, and what does that look like, and what does that feel like, and then also, you know, inside, because I think a woman is beautiful when they are confident, right? That's the other thing. I mean, I see these amazing women in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and I'm like, they are just drop dead gorgeous because they are just rest, and they are just have so much energy and life, and they're interesting, and that comes from the confidence. And I think that's important. I think we've lost sight of some importance in the Photoshop.
Very true. And the AI and all the things.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
AI is another story, but I mean, I think it's really going to help our industry. But let's not take away from, we're touching people's lives with our hands and our hearts. And estheticians, we have such an amazing gift, and there is longevity in this industry, but you've got to be well trained. And also, I go to class every year, whether it be a hands-on skill or a business class, or trying to evolve more as a better human being. That those types of classes, every year, and I tell everybody that. So you learn a new skill, so that you can add that tool to your toolbox, right? Like you said, guaranteed there's going to be more than one person on your table that's going to be diagnosed with cancer. I don't know what the statistics are, but isn't it like 1 in 3 or 1 in 6 people?
Yeah.
Don't quote me, but because I mean it's really high. And if it's not them, it's one of their family members, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And they're looking for support for them. So if it may not be the actual person you're working with, it could be your client's sister. And then they know, oh my gosh, wow, I can bring my sister here and make her feel confident about who's working with her.
Right.
So
Yeah, because I was very nervous about catching a cold or being sick or being around anybody, like even if the nurse didn't put gloves. I mean, I was just, because I knew that my immune system was so compromised. You cannot, when you're going through those treatments, be around any type of germ. And one thing that statisticians know about is we are, you know what I mean?
yeah,
we wipe down the knobs, we wipe down the tables, we wipe, you
yeah,
know what I mean?
everything.
So that's also important I think, in the training. And I think for estheticians to say they're oncology certified or trained, that's fabulous to have in your branding and marketing on your website. And like you said, connect with other nonprofits. I think I went to a space by Northside Hospital, and I don't remember the name of it, but there's so many places that you can connect with and work with, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember I went there and we would paint ceiling tiles. I should go there and see if my ceiling tile is still there. Had tulips on it. Art therapy was very important to me. Color, that really helped me. That
Yeah.
and a lot of comedies.
Yeah, they you're probably talking about the cancer support community. But another thing about the class, a question that comes up about it is, what resources will I have afterward? And I can guarantee you, I will give you different resources that you can look out into in the Atlanta area. If you decide that you're going to come to Atlanta to take the class, we would be able to work with you and figure out who can we put you in touch with. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different avenues you can take it. So again,
Yeah,
being safe.
yeah, I think, the one thing about that I've always believed in as an esthetician and a business owner is giving back. And I found that by giving back, you just the universe just gives you so much,
Yes.
and I think that it gives you a beauty with purpose, I think, is a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
That you understand that there's so much more to beauty than just doing the facial, just going through the motions, and it really is networking and connecting with people on a deeper level. And I think that's going to really make your practice not only grow, but feel more fulfilling, right?
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
not getting so burned out, right? Because a great person told me once that you have to be inspirational to be inspired. So by being, inspirational to other people, you will in turn inspire yourself, because sometimes it's hard to be inspired, right? Oh, you're like, oh God, I got to teach another day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Very true.
So by giving back, you end up giving to yourself. And I mean, I also think, like, half my life is over. It's like a scary thought, right? And it's like,
Right.
so what? Like I tell my students and my staff, I realize I only have 25 years left to live, and they're horrified. And I said, no. So I do it to them, because sometimes they look, so what do you want to do with it? Because, I have some instructors that are like in their 20s, you know what I mean? And when you're in your 20s, you think you'll live forever, right?
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah. Because remember when you were in your 20s and your parents were in their 40s and they were old? Do you remember that? Like, when my parents were in their 40s, I thought they were like old people. So I think it's also to have an intention-filled life, like live with intention. Uh, hard things will always happen every day. It's called living, right? If you wake up in the morning, I love Pitbull's song. I tell all my students, they always laugh. I say every day is a good day above ground.
Yeah, it is very
Period.
true. I love it. Yeah.
Period, right? So, I've had so much fun. I think we could just talk for 1,000 hours.
We could, and I appreciate the opportunity for expressing my passion and being able to learn a little bit more about you. So thank you for having me.
You are so welcome, and we look forward to seeing you at the school. And I don't know if you're going to be at Skin Games, but we'll definitely see you at the school. And we'll be putting up the dates of those classes. And we are excited to see and learn more from you.
Sounds great.
And where can we find you, Tracy? Just tell everybody again.
Yeah, so the website is anewdailybeginning.org.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. Thanks for the patience on the IT.
Absolutely, no problem.